Hello and welcome to Captain's Dry Dock, and this is part 6, the final part of my workshop build.
What the f*** is wrong with you?
Let's make it real. The structure is now built, lit, weatherproof, and decorated. Now it's time for the really fun bit, turning it into my dream workshop. The most important thing to start with is the desk. Now, you can't go wrong with IKEA. Cheap, good quality and modular. To go with the white, grey, red decor, I chose a long grey desktop that would be supported by 2 Alex drawer units. It's at this stage of the build that my budget was fast running out, so I used Facebook Marketplace and apps specialising in selling second-hand stuff. And I got both of these drawers for £80 a pair when they're actually £80 each, brand new from IKEA.
Nice.
I wanted to personalise this setup with details I knew would make working at the desk ergonomic. So I started with the drawer interiors. For those that don't know what shadow foam is, it's basically a multi-layered foam system designed for toolbox drawers where you can cut out the profile of your tools. This protects, organises and makes everything look so cool, and helping with the tabletop minimalist approach, which also meant hiding wires. The modern office desk was a good inspiration as they have holes where computer wires feed through, so to get to plug sockets, and the holes are tidied up with plastic rims and caps. Now, I could have bought these from Amazon, but it was much more fun and cheaper to make myself and have them 3D printed, and I can make as many as I want. I don't know about you, but other desk bins, although convenient, are annoying when having to reach under the desk to throw stuff out. Quite often you miss and rubbish is scattered around your feet. As this IKEA desktop is cheap, I took the risk and cut a big hole that was slightly smaller than the bin. Then I screwed a U-shaped aluminium bracket underneath. This acts like a rail system to fit the lip of the bin. This allowed the bin to slot and slide in and out of the bracket, keeping it completely off the ground and giving me more legroom. To make the hole look tidier, I designed and 3D printed a sloped rim. Now I can easily sweep offcuts, dust and anything else directly into the bin towards the hole positioned to the side of my cutting mat. Okay, although I said I wanted everything tidy, the wiring under the desk is still a work in progress. And as you can see, it's also the location of my router, which will probably make me infertile, but already having 2 beautiful children, I'm fine with that. To make the most of my space, I was going to buy corner shelves, but these are so easy to make, so I knocked them together from scrap wood from the workshop build and painted them the same grey as the skirting board. This is where my Amazon Alexa sits, which I use a lot, as it also controls the lighting through verbal commands, which I'll cover more later. I wanted a centerpiece for the workshop that shows off some of the things that I've made, as it gives me a feeling of achievement and it's a cool background for these videos. So I bought this pegboard from IKEA and made 3D printed brackets to hold the hooks I got from Amazon. But I felt that it still needed to have that wow factor added, so I made the light up feature, which is my motto, make it real, based on Star Trek Picard's famous line,
Make it so.
So after some experimenting, I decided to make it the same way as those invisible lamps you get at the gadget shops. I made a 3D printed bracket strengthened with a right angle aluminium length that had an RGB Wi-Fi light strip stuck inside that I bought also from Amazon. This comes with a power socket and a Wi-Fi box of tricks that connects to my Alexa app. The letters were laser cuts using clear 5mm thick acrylic, where the light is refracted and gives that lovely glow. On the theme of lighting, I installed another 2 RGB Wi-Fi light strips at each end of the workshop, where I can change the colour and the brightness. To add the Star Trek geeky touch, the entire lighting setup turns on with the verbal command, Alexa, which lights on. I also needed a strong large workbench to store most of my tools and a sturdy level surface. As I had so much wood left over from the workshop build, I made it from scratch to precise measurements, mainly based around my beer fridge that my dad gifted to me. Yes, I did say at the start of the video that I wanted my workshop to look clean and modern, and this being made from aged and damaged decking, this clearly isn't. But as the piggy bank was well and truly in pieces, this had to make do. Well, until I redesigned and created something more fitting later on. But the important thing is it does the job and fits my 3D printers, belt sander and anything else at arm's reach underneath the worktop. Which of course, most importantly, houses the beer fridge. Just above the workbench, I added a canvas print I got years ago of a scene from a Star Trek film. Leave a comment down below if you know what film and scene it's from. If you like this, I've left a link down below of the guy that makes this and many other incredible film scenes as digital art. Next was to install the laser cutter, which is huge. I bought this secondhand from a friend. It barely fit in my car, but it's a must-have for any modern workshop. I mounted this on a pair of IKEA Alex cabinets that are actually designed for containing a computer tower, but these were also ideal for storing materials for the laser cutter as well as other supplies such as paint and chemicals. Speaking of which, as this is a workshop that contains hazardous materials and a place where the threat of injury is all too present, I installed a first aid kit and eye wash station next to the entrance. Also, laser cutters do tend to catch things on fire, so I installed a fire extinguisher near it next to the rear door. The last thing I needed to install was a bit of an extravagance, a projector. I was still considered a large TV, but these were still too expensive at the time of filming. That was until someone suggested a projector. As my walls are flat and white, I could have an entire wall be one massive cinema screen. And as I saved so much money on the IKEA desk storage units, I splurged on this baby. I can pop a USB stick full of videos onto it, or a Fire Stick to get Netflix. Also, I can Bluetooth connect to my iPhone, as it can act as a massive digital pinboard for when I need to refer to images when I'm making replica props. Once I located the optimal position for installation, I bought a universal bracket and screwed it into the ceiling, and then used conduit to hide all the wiring. As the structure was going to be built to my spec, there's probably a few of you wondering why I didn't just have my projector, LED lighting, and other devices wiring built in behind the walls.
Good question, good question.
And the reason for that is that my needs and priorities may change once I start working more in this space. And so I wanted everything to adapt, not leaving redundant sockets and wires everywhere if I choose to move in the future. The workshop is brand new, and so it doesn't really have much character until I spend more time in it. And so just to start, I broke out my silhouette cutter and made a few fun decals. This one is to be placed on my fuse box, as I like the idea of little pop culture Easter eggs for guests for when they visit. And of course, my Captain's Dry Dock logo on my front door using a frosted effect vinyl. This is the same material you would have most likely seen used for frosting bathroom windows for privacy. I also hung this photo I took years ago while travelling through Morocco of a metalworker in a tiny messy workshop lit only with one light bulb. And there we have it. It's been a few months since this has all been built, and working from it has been a game changer. Not having to set everything up like this and put everything away every night, not worrying about making too much noise or dangerous chemicals and fumes in the house. It also allows me to make larger props, such as this Star Trek First Contact laser rifle that I'm currently finishing. And this place also doubles up as a man cave. It's a great place to chill next to my beer fridge while looking over either the latest episode of Family Guy or the beautiful lines of my trident. Now, I really hope you've enjoyed my journey and giving you some inspiration to have a workshop made for yourself one day. Now that I have mine, I can now get on with making really cool stuff, such as the mentioned laser rifle, as well as some retro computer game assets that I currently have in development. If that's not your thing, and you've only been watching the channel just because it's workshop build, no worries. But if what I said floats your boat and tickles your pickle,
Cheeky.
like and subscribe. You take care.